I think it's a huge testament to what we're doing in recruiting, what our personnel department is doing to bring talent in here. And it's also affecting our room in a positive way. Guys are competitive on and off the field. It's helped us grow, helped those guys individually grow a lot so far in camp.
Eric?
Kind of on that note, what has Chaz Nimrod done this offseason, take these steps to put himself in a position to excel in camp and see the field more?
Yeah, he's done a great job for one of like changing his body. He's gained a lot of muscle. He looks different on the field because of that, and he's competing his butt off right now. He's had a really good camp. Today was probably his best practice that he's had since he's been here, just from a consistency and competitive standpoint. So I'm looking forward to see more out of him as he continues to train. He's done an awesome job so far.
Adam and Ben?
You've got, at least what we can take, you've got Bru, Dante, and Mike Matthews all in the same spot. Do you ever wonder, like, how am I gonna get all three of those guys on the field, or are you just enjoying the depth that you have there?
All of our guys play multiple spots, right? Just on a given day, they might be at one spot, but each one of our guys has to play multiple positions. And that's why, because you have to have some position flexibility. So there may be times where Bru's got to go to slide, Mike's got to go to slide. They got to know his position. And I think that depth has forced those guys to put more on themselves to learn different positions, so I can add value and get on the field however they may be. So even if on a given day, if you see Squirrel, Chaz, and Mike at a spot, those guys can go play anywhere in our system.
Kelsey, what have been your early returns with Bru working back from his injury from last year, and how agitated does he get when y'all have to say, whoa, and let's kind of hold back for a little bit now?
That's kind of Bru. If you know him, you know he's anxious to go play and compete, which is a good thing from my standpoint. I would much rather hold a guy back and tell him hold up than have to get a guy to be aggressive. So it's actually a positive for him. It's just giving him the big picture. Our plan for him, kind of our workload plan for him, not getting back in there too soon and putting a bunch of volume on him. He's done a good job of trusting that. He's done an amazing job of leading his room. He's one of the best leaders I've ever been around, player or coach in my career. So we're fortunate to have him in that role.
Paige, then Patrick.
Yeah, Coach, kind of building off of that, Braylon Staley said, basically when Bru's in a room, you don't need to be there. Just how important is it to have a leader like Bru in the room?
It's awesome. I think for me, it challenges me because I think kids like that you can take for granted as a coach and just assume a lot because they're always in the right place, they're always doing extra. So for me, as a coach, it challenges me, like how can I do things that may be out of the box or unorthodox or put him in situations where he's uncomfortable so he can continue to grow. I do think also that when young guys see me coach him and challenge him, those guys realize that, everybody's getting coached the same way. Everyone's getting challenged. And there's a respect in their room that, man, everybody has to compete to kind of earn their place and create their own value.
Kelsey, what kind of difference have you seen in Chris since the spring? Is more comfortable in offense? What's maybe different about him from earlier in the offseason?
He's dialed in, man. Like when he first got here, I don't think he had a true expectation of what it took in this building and in this league to be successful. And right now he's in a really good spot. He's dialed in, he's getting extra meetings, he's getting extra film. Like he's doing a great job of preparing. And I think as long as he does that and continues to do that, he'll give himself a shot, right? We still gotta obviously make plays on Saturday, but as long as you prepare the right way, you always give yourself a shot to be successful. He's doing that right now. I'm pleased with him.
John?
Coach, how is Dante Thornton different right now than he was at this point 1 year ago?
As transparent as I can be, I think mindset. I think when he got here, there's a ton of nervousness, there's a ton of anxiety. He put pressure on himself a lot. I think the biggest thing that kid's done this off season is he's just allowed himself to work as hard as he can and let the chips fall where they may. And a lot of times when you do that as an athlete, you make more plays because you're a lot looser when you're playing. You're not so wound up and tightened up and putting pressure on yourself. So he's come a very long way as far as his mental makeup. He's built a lot of confidence, and it's because of a lot of work that he's done this offseason to gain that confidence. So Dante's in a good spot as well.
Ben, then Austin.
Kelsey, what do you want to see from your receivers tomorrow night to deem it a successful outing?
Yeah, I think for me, I want to see those guys compete in every facet. Man, I want to see them compete in the run game and get nasty and block their butts off. And obviously, when we got the ability to go make plays down the field, I want to see us do that. But I think a lot of times, like we think about those plays downfield as a wide out, but the things that makes receivers good are the details on third down and being able to move the chains. It's being able to play a game within a game and understand how to influence my opponent in run game as well as in pass game, or help myself with my split. So those little things are the things that I want to see us compete at, not necessarily just the big plays or when the ball's in the air. I want to see us compete in those small facets that kind of make up the game.
Kelsey, can you talk about Nathan Laycock and his growth, maybe as you get to the start of fall camp, and then going back a little bit to Dante, how much more comfortable was it when you just moved him outside?
Yeah.
You talked about the anxiety. You think the anxiety was maybe able to play inside versus just where you've been outside most of his career?
Yeah, I think it like these guys that read things and they come in with their own expectations and naturally they put a lot of pressure on themselves. So I think when Dante came in, it was pressure on himself to kind of go make plays and prove people wrong. And I've talked to him a lot this offseason about proving himself right. And I think naturally you get a calmness about that when you just make it about you. And you asked about Leacock. I think that guy's done a great job this offseason. He caught more balls than anyone this offseason. He's anywhere between like 12 to 13,000 balls, which was a huge area that he had to grow in. He's changed his body. He's healthy and he's playing fast right now. And I think you guys keep asking about growth from everybody. Man, I think the true equalizer is competition. Like we've done a great job of putting talent in that room, and when there's talent in the room, there's an expectation to make plays, right? And as each guy in the room has done that, man, there's a guy on the side that's looking like, man, I gotta go make that play because I gotta earn playing time. And that's been a huge thing this offseason that's helped us be successful so far.
Page, then Eric.
Screw White's taking some preseason attention. The Bru McCoy award was on that preseason list. How have you seen maybe his connection with Nico strengthen, and what is he doing to continue his growth?
Yeah, that's great. That's more for his family to enjoy than him. Those watch lists and awards, man, like those things don't help us get results, right? So for him, it's continue to keep the work ethic the main thing, right? You don't get anything for reputation. It's great that he's kind of got a reputation out there, but he's got to continue to work. We don't live off reputation, right? And Squirrel's doing a great job of being in the building. He's got some own things that he's done a good job of managing this offseason. He's grown a lot, like as a man. Football's always been important to him. When he got here to Tennessee, he had some growing up to do. He's light years ahead of where he was when he got on campus. As a human being, that guy's growing a ton.
Eric.
Another one on Squirrel, with all the competition in your room right now, how will that help him get even better? And then will it allow him to maybe play less snaps where he's more fresh in the second half of football games?
I think that's what depth is always a liberty because you don't have guys like having to play 85, 90% of the snaps. We had a ton of injuries last year, which is going to happen, and really didn't have a lot of depth, and we were forced to play him a lot more. And with his frame, man, you want to make sure that kid holds up, especially with 16, 17 week season this year. So absolutely, that depth is going to be a liberty for us. And also, right, like iron sharpens iron, light sharpens light. The way Bru runs routes is different than Squirrel. The way Chris runs routes is different than Squirrel. But you can always take pieces from each guy and help your own game, and that's where the competition is helping him a ton.
Last two, Wes, and then Emily.
Kelsey, when you had or if you had a post-spring meeting with Chaz, what were the things in terms of, hey, this is what I want you to do this summer, I like this, I'd like this to be better? What was that conversation like, and has he followed that script?
Yeah. So for me and Chaz, like his biggest thing is just the rigors and the violence in this league. Man, I want you to play with a ton of physicality. I want you to embrace physicality. And Chaz is a good-hearted guy, right? Like he's always smiling, he's always in a great mood. But there's a switch that's got to be flipped when you're on that field. For me to be elite, like I got to be able to flip that switch and go compete with anybody in the world. And I think mentally that's where he's transformed. So it's always little nuggets when I see him. It may be like he's really into books. We've talked about The Alchemist. I've given him props and things out of that book. But those are the type of relationships that help guys grow. It won't always be, a football quote or a quote from Coach Lombardi, right? Like sometimes you gotta dig deeper, and that's where the relationship piece comes into place, and you're able to tap into guys. So, man, that's helped so far with him, and we plan on continuing to train with him.
Coach, other than the competition aspect of this group, what excites you the most about them going into the season?
Man, I think just playing football, right? Like you think about the stories in this room. Like Bru would have been done last year. Like he fought through an injury, but really and truly, it's a second chance for him to put things on tape as last year. You got a kid like Dante who comes from Baltimore. He comes to Knoxville, and he embraces everything about this community and his role with his football family. You get Squirrel White, who's adding addition to his family, who's a great kid, but now he's growing into more of a protective role. Like I can't wait to see these guys and their stories be played out on Saturday. I think that's what gives me an excited feeling. Like football is always fun, but the stories that attaches you to these guys, and you're going through their journeys with them, and then seeing that play out on Saturdays and those guys make plays, that's the awesome feeling, right? And then once the wins come behind that, it's cherries on top.
Thank you.